feel like we're on the right path, we're on the right track. And so we're just super excited to continue to do this because we're providing information that's like.
One thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to always give more value, more of a service. If you keep increasing your service,
That scarcity mindset is not abundance, and abundance is what brings value. We can make it happen.
that'd be awesome. All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 15 of Business Brains and Bronze. You are here today joined with myself, Nick Justice, Mike Rosen, and hopefully Taylor midway through this episode, but he's got a busy day today at the clinic. We got a few topics we're going to talk about today. Talking about scaling as coaches, maybe when the right time to scale would be for somebody, if that's with revenue or if that's with a certain cap on the roster, bringing a coach on, when that's a good idea, when it's not a good idea. Talk a little bit as well about Mike's current position with his contest prep, because we were just talking about that. So yeah, today's going to be a podcast where it's just packed with value coming right for you guys. What we've been we're just trying to give back to the feedback that I've been hearing from some of my athletes that are also coaches that listen to this podcast. They're getting tons of value, but also there's things that they want to have us dive into a little bit more. So right off the bat, we're just going to start with, I'll just start with how my last 7 days went, man. And then we can kind of go into more of the formal side podcast. Dude, I took the boat out yesterday. Okay.
I saw that.
Oh, dude, took the Trendlord out, the USS Trendlord. First off, I didn't know. So, okay, the story behind that name, all right, comes from back in college. So like knowing you know me, I didn't have like video games, growing up and stuff.
Yeah.
But back in college, my roommate, who's still a close friend to this day, he had an Xbox, and whenever I'd play Xbox, I would go on my account, my Xbox, or no, it was a PlayStation. I made a joke. It was like, my name on my gamer tag is going to be Trendlord 999. Okay. So ever since college, like that was my gamer tag, whatever. I didn't have a gaming system after college until 2024 when I was in Tennessee on contest prep. And I was like, dude, I'm in Tennessee for like 3 weeks. I'm going to just get a PS5 and game. So I got one, and that was my gamer tag. But the funny thing is, my gamer tag, I made that when I was natural, and it was just a joke. So that's just like, I named my boat that, the USS Trendlord. And then I was going to get a custom sticker made for it on the back. But apparently it's a federal crime if you put USS and then a name of a boat, because it's not part of the United
it's not
States.
part of the fleet.
Exactly. So, so I'm going to get a sticker that says the Trendlord or something on it for the boat. But yeah, man, that was absolutely brilliant. Took that out yesterday, literally just for about 3 hours, and I finished up first half of my check-ins in my office, and the last half I finished up on the boat, and it was absolutely amazing. We went out there, enjoyed the sun. It was about 75 degrees out. Made sure that everything was running properly with the boat. I already had it summarized, and it was just flawless, man. Hearing the supercharger on both my motors on that thing spool up is just something else, and you're ripping across the water going 60 miles an hour.
You have 2 superchargers?
Bro, I've got 2 motors on that boat. Yeah.
What motors are they?
So they're, what are they called? They're
How many cc's are they?
It's the Sea-Doo Challenger 230. It's 500 horsepower.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Is this Sea-Doo style, so it's jet propulsion?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, I've got 2 twin Rotax 4-cylinder motors on each end. The twin Rotax 4-tech supercharged or naturally aspirated. Yeah, the naturally aspirated ones are the 1.5 liters, but the thing rips, dude. So each motor literally has a supercharger sitting right on top, and I give it a little bit of throttle, and it goes, oh, it's so cool, dude. It fits 12, 13 people. It's a big boat, man. It's a big freaking boat. I love it. And then, but throughout the rest of the week, dude, I had a great week, dude. Weather was pretty decent. We had some storms roll through, which was actually great. I love rainstorms. And yeah, I think I'm going to take a rest day today and start building some gardening stuff for the girlfriend and I. Yeah, man. But how was your week?
Well, no boat, but man, what did I do? I had worked out with was that Nick Bagley on Tuesday? Can't remember, was that last Tuesday? Yeah, I guess it was. Worked out with Nick Bagley on Tuesday. Destroyed me. It was so good. Loved his style. Really pushed me. Then I worked out with Jonathan Izzy on Saturday. That broke me. Today is my anniversary for my wife, 2 years.
Congrats, man.
Thank you, thank you. So we got a little dinner tonight. Um, as I was telling you before the call, like I called Taylor on Sunday and I was like, yo, or Saturday, and I was like, bro, I'm heavy is hard. I've said that too many times the last 3 weeks. Like I'm ready to start cutting. So 19 weeks out, I reducing the food, reducing the protocols as we get ready to basically come off. And then I've got the hike, and then we'll kick it all back up again 12 weeks out. But yeah, I went to bed and the highest weight was 252. Heaviest fasted weight was 247.
Damn.
This morning I was 240 fasted.
Really?
Yeah, so dropped a lot of water.
Yeah.
That's like an 8-pound swing,
Yeah.
7-pound swing. That's a lot. So
Your posing
had a
video this
pizza.
morning looked really good.
Yeah, appreciate that. So first official check-in, fasted photos. I normally do them like post-workout when you look better. But I was like, okay, time to get back to the rawness. Um, so just checking the food more. Stop going to like ease in the BS. I'll figure out. I don't know. We'll see how I feel tonight at the anniversary dinner. Because we're gonna go out to eat. But other than that, I plan on just like keeping it dialed in. Got a lot of travel for May. A lot of travel for May. I'm traveling to the Emerald Cup this weekend, and then I've
Great
got
show.
Vegas for the Real Coaches Summit. So I'm gonna be gone 5 days. So I'll be packing all my food for 5 days. But yeah, good training sessions. We had an amazing workshop in house where actually Cameron Cheek came out, Andrew Fotis, and then two newer coaches, Ass and Justin. It was good. Amazing little workshop. Always love those. As I talked about last podcast, I was like, hey, we're going to have all these people start to come in person. Now we're doing that. So our next one is May 22nd, 21st, 22nd, I believe. So we have one spot already filled with a killer coach, Annie Tran.
Mhm.
I should compete at nationals, but him and his wife are going to come out. So excited about that and ready to get that thing filled up. So, when I was good, I tell you what's crazy this past week is the most I've ever had people inbounding for. Can you tell me what you do?
Really?
I probably had 7 people inbound. Like, what do you do? How can you help
Interesting.
me? And like, I think it's coming from the workshop and the content around the workshops of us being in person. And, a lot of people's like, Cameron Cheek's a great coach. Everybody knows him. And so he posts and it's like, this was amazing. And people were like, tell me more. So, as I kind of led to before, getting people in person allows us to create more content, which is going to allow us to have just more of an expansion. And it's something funny I heard this morning on Instagram from a guy named Cole Gordon who spoke to Alex Hormozy. And Alex Hormozy said, look at the people that have the biggest brands in the industry. They're all built off in person events.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Robbins, built off in person events.
Wait, he does?
Tony Robbins,
Oh, he does the speaking,
or a
right?
stadium, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
At 15,000 a ticket.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like we're on the right path. We're on the right track. And so we're just super excited to continue to do this because we're providing information that's like not talked about, which is like, we call it like the 10K coach, the 25K coach, the 50K coach, and the 100K coach. There's like problems in each level. We address your problem based on where you're at. So it's a lot of fun to see people go, how did you know that about me? And I was like, well, you're not a special snowflake. Everybody has these same issues. There's just what shade lipstick are we using today?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool. It's really cool to see people's like light bulb moments and knowing that like they're not alone in that journey. And when I can like shove information down your throat for 2 days, you walk away with like back your head's blown off. So
I mean,
it's
yeah,
pretty
bro,
cool.
what did I tell you before we even started recording that I was like, bro, Cameron called me multiple times in those 2 days that he was out there, how freaking excited he was.
Which is so cool too, because it's like somebody that's so successful, right? And is really good at what he does to find value in things that we're doing. Like that just goes to show it's like, well, we're doing some things right. So that's good.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something too, like, so you said you had 10K, 15K, and 20K coach, or did it start at
It's 10, 25, 50, 100, 200.
that's right, that's right. Okay, so like let's say 10 to 20. There's mostly all those coaches have like the same problem, that 10 to 20K range, the same bottlenecks, etc. But when it comes from 20 plus, they're probably a little bit more technical or a little bit more advanced, would you say? Like in terms of now we're starting to work with a little bit more that we have to like a little bit more attention to detail for some of those issues if we want to scale there. Let's pull back though, and let's go to like the 10K to 20K range coach. A lot of those things that those coaches need to do with their systems, with their funnel, etc. Honestly, you don't need to be making 10K a month to benefit from those systems that those people that you're teaching those
Sure.
people.
You
So
know,
like
the
what
biggest issues in a 10K is not even as much as the systems, as much as the insecurities.
yeah.
It's you usually get into a price trap
Mhm.
to where, let's say you're working with 30 people, but you only make 5 grand a month. And it's because when you first started, you have 15 clients that you charge 150 bucks for. And then you're afraid to ask them to move up because you've grandfathered their pricing, but yet you can't do anything else because you don't have as much time. You might still have a job. So it's like now I'm trying to do a part-time job with people who pay me half of what I'm technically worth at this point. Yet I'm afraid to ask them for more money. I'm afraid to increase my prices. So there's a lot of things that kind of like prevent us from doing that. And normally pricing is the number one and confusing offers.
Yeah. Now, I think another thing too that at least I see on my end is some of my athletes are coaches, a lot of my athletes are coaches. One thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to always give more value, more of a service. Now, they're not wrong by doing that because they pour so much in their clients that they want, like, yo, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do more of this. I want to give them a reason to stick around. That's good. That's a great characteristic to have. Those people they will experience burnout much quicker.
Uh-huh.
Because at the end of the day, if you keep increasing your service and increasing the value that you're giving, but not having anything in return, AKA increasing prices, you will begin to have some resentment towards what you're doing. And you will actually begin to resent who you're working with. So, like for instance, I had a chat with one of the athletes, Tristan. He watches this all the time. He's a big fan of this podcast, what we talk about, and he's just a lover of bodybuilding. He had this great idea about how he can kind of explain to people more when they onboard of like if they're more of an emotional style trainer or if they are more of like a technical, like I like breaking things down, etc. So I just gave him that idea, like, hey man, do not get on a call with every person that comes your way. Explain to them every detail of your program. Don't explain to them every detail once they sign up. Let's say they paid you already. Don't get on a call with every single one of them and be like, hey, this is how you're going to walk through your training plan. Bro, you can already do that. You can put that in a Loom video and link that within your Trainerize or your spreadsheets or whatever you're using. And I sometimes think that goes over the head of some people sometimes because they're like, well, the work's already done. They may not see the value in that. No, they do see the value in that. You have to be selfish sometimes when it comes to, yo, I'm charging 150, 200 bucks a month. And if I get on a call with everybody for a kickoff call when their spreadsheets are sent or their programs are made, that actually decreases your value because now that client is like, oh, I can get on a call any time of the day with my coach. And I'm only paying them 150 bucks, 200 bucks a month.
Yeah.
That's rough, dude. That's a rough place to be.
Yeah. It is. And setting that boundary Usually just comes in time. Um, the scarcity mindset is like, I'm not going to have somebody else come to me. So I have to make this money now.
Hmm.
It's like that scarcity mindset is not abundance, and abundance is what brings value and allows you to charge more money. Like I know coaches are going to continue to come our way because if that wasn't the case and I felt like I got the last one coming tonight, I have to close. You'll basically sell your grandma to make that sale. And it's like you don't want to do that. So you can't sell the farm to please somebody. In fact, I only want 50% of people to say yes.
Yeah.
And it's a hard pill to swallow in the beginning years of the business.
Hmm.
And it's like, I think the first 10 people, yeah, you should try to do whatever you can to make them. But that also doesn't mean that they get that same value and treatment forever.
Yes.
Eventually, like, we've got to make a judgment call. It's like, do you continue to train 10 people for 50 bucks, 100 bucks, 150 bucks, 200, or do you ask them to raise that price?
I agree. I think, for instance, Loom videos. I'm a big fan of Loom videos when I send check-ins. Okay. Now, I'll be the first one to admit that I've sent Loom videos that are 40 seconds long, and I've sent Loom videos that are 10 minutes long. Okay. I got to a point where I was sending every single athlete and client a Loom video for every check-in, for every training video, for everything. And then it became their standard of what their feedback was going to be from me. The moment that I stopped doing the Loom videos, and I still do them occasionally, okay, because there's still a ton of value in them. Some people were like, well, what happened? Like, I thought we're doing Loom videos for everything. And I'm like, well, one, you got to respect my time as well. But two, I started to sense a little bit of hand holding from some people. Now, not everybody, okay, but it's one of those things where I had to draw that line in the sand and be like, hey, you can get the exact same service and product from me in a 1 to 2 minute voice message and not have a 5 to 10 minute Loom video. Because most of the times, even though those people were really enjoying the Loom videos, I sensed that it was too much. I was pouring too much into them and there wasn't enough independence on their end. You know what I'm saying? And I think as a
Yes.
coach, you have to trust that you're leading by example so that your clients know that they don't have to be dependent on you 24/7.
Yeah, it's setting the expectation, right? So it's like we have a lot of coaches that start off with like, yeah, I do weekly calls with people because it's the
No.
most value. Great. It's really good to start. You become a better coach. You eventually have to stop doing that.
Mhm,
So let's say that goes to bi-weekly. Now you basically up your price a little bit, but you decrease the value in which you give
mhm,
because you're a better coach now. You don't have to have as many conversations. You can forecast what's going to happen. And then you change it to where it's like, we do calls as needed. Calls as needed is not like somebody's going to call you 3 times a week. It doesn't work like that. It's all scheduled out. You set the tone. Yeah, we can talk in 3 days here. So calls as needed. It has high value because it's like whenever you need me, you just let me know I'm here. However, there's no standard that has to be met. It's just call as needed. You'll have 5 people get on a call with you once every 90 days, and one person gets on a call with you biweekly. That's
mhm.
probably how that's end up going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And so they were just changing it as we deliver better and better packages. And then when it comes to like, then it usually goes to like, I'll do Loom check ins. And it's like, as much as that's also great. And I agree that I think Loom check-ins should be, I like Loom videos because he doesn't have to have calls because I'm making the personal connection. Again, understanding ideal audience. If I work with bodybuilders, not as needed. I'm working with mom of two trying to lose weight. Communication is required. Connection is a must.
Mhm,
That I need to be heard, seen, felt. Like I've got to have all these major emotions fixed whenever we're trying to leave pain versus achieving a goal. And so what I think is really cool about this is where a lot of coaches lack, right? Because correct me if I'm wrong. The reason that Loom videos become hard is because the schedule in which how we do check-ins is not consistent.
I
If we
agree.
did check-ins only from Tuesday at 8 a.m. to Tuesday at 11 and I was always home at the same time, loom would not be difficult. When you do check-ins on a Friday and then you travel on vacation, you're at the airport and you can't do loom check-ins. But you're still doing the check-ins. It's just different format, different manner, different location, different setup. And then it's like, oh, I got clients. Oh, I've got this wedding we're going to. Oh. So it's like whenever you have a check-in day that is not convenient for you to be at your desk, ass planted, working, you are actually you're throwing the wrench in the system because the schedule you're doing is not set in stone, right? Like yesterday, you were doing check-ins on the boat, right? You doing you. However, now the settings change. Maybe the Wi-Fi is not as good. Like there's so many different things because you're living your life on how you want to live it, which is nothing wrong with that. But it's like when we set that tone of like, I'm going to deliver looms, basically what you're saying is that I'm going to be at home in my office during these times to do this amount of work for this amount of time.
Yes.
So if you set the tone to where it's just going to be, and for me personally, as a type, I'm a combination type A, type B, but I would say that for me to deliver the best results, and I'm going to suggest this for most people, is that it needs to be like clockwork, to where it's like, this is what I do when I do it. There's a reason why Alex Ramosi gets up and starts and works deep work from 4 to 8 by himself. It's because when he hits that spot, no distractions, it's just deep work. So your check-ins would be like, it's just deep work. There's no distractions. There's no, I'm going to go walk today instead of doing check-ins. It's like, no, block your schedule, right? If you work a 9 to 5 and you have to be at work at 9 o'clock, it's like, that's how you should show up for your check-ins. What happens is that whenever you have like an 8-hour block to do check-ins, when you have to do 12 of them, all of a sudden they take forever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go, I have 30 minutes to get these done, you get them all done really fast.
Yeah.
Because you're more intentional with your time. So it's like block it off to where it's like, I got 2 hours to do these check-ins 3 days a week. And then you just set that standard and it's just much easier to fulfill. But you have to put it in a schedule that is fulfillable. Weekends, not fulfillable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's going to just change too much. So days that I know, like Mondays, if I have my coaching calls with clients, Mondays. Why? I'm always in office on Mondays. I'm not doing it on a Friday. I might not be here. I don't schedule calls on Tuesdays. Why? I'm trying to set to where Tuesdays is a day that I can be a lot more lenient so that I can go work out with somebody local that's a coach and create content.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
And
so
that's
it's like,
something too. I've had to learn that as I've gained more success is like, okay, Nick, for me, I'm somebody that I'm like, okay, I like schedule, I like routine, but also I'm a fly on the wall. It's like, oh, this popped up today. All right, man, I can't really control that. You know, I will have to do check-ins when I get back. Okay. And I don't stress about that. But at the end of the day, I know that if I want to scale, I have to always, sometimes the most important thing for me to scale with increasing workload, more clients, bringing in more revenue is reflecting on what am I doing throughout the week and then breaking out what am I doing throughout each day of the week. Am I doing check-ins on weekends? And when I told myself I wasn't going to, okay, where can I take that and put it elsewhere throughout the week where maybe I have less check-ins? You know, I think people, it's a lot easier to scale when you can optimize your schedule and not always
yes,
be in an ideal
yes,
position. You know, like a lot of people want to live in a very idealistic mindset, okay, idealistic way of living. They see the world how they want to see it instead of how it is. But sometimes you have to be the one that creates it and you have to be a realist and be like, you know what? I have to optimize my schedule for growth, not because, you know, because I can wake up and play PS5 for the first 2 hours of the day because I work for myself doesn't mean that I should, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And that's I'll be straight up with you, man. That's coming from that's what Cameron used to do. I mean, 3, 4 years ago, he told me, he was like to my face, he was like, yeah, man, honestly, the first like 2 hours of my day, I play 2K, you know, and then I just do check-ins after that, you know, and he doesn't do that at all anymore. But the funny thing is, I was with somebody at the time that heard that was also a coach. And he's like, oh, Cameron does that. I'm going to start doing that too. There's a reason that coach isn't successful anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's if somebody's like, well, why does that matter? Let me put it to you like this. Your clients, you're asking them to just, hey, don't prepare any of your meals. Just go throughout the day and rough it and then just count your macros. How good do you have to be to do that? I can tell you a lot better than a person paying somebody to tell them how many macros they need to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like you're being your own worst client because you're not setting up for success and having a prepared routine and schedule. When you don't know when you're going to do your check-ins, that's like not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. Odds are it's probably not going to be optimal when it gets time to eat. And so it's like success is found in habitual routines. You get in a sleep pattern, you get in a work pattern, workout pattern. Because if you just like, hey, I'm gonna go work out at 6 p.m. and then it's like, I'm gonna go work out at 6 a.m. You think a 12-hour gap is optimal for lifting? It's the next day. It's like, it's not optimal though,
Right.
right? We need to have a good amount of ample recovery time to do X, Y, and Z. So it's like, same thing for work. You don't need to work from 6 to midnight and then from 6 to noon. Like, that's not also a good structure either. Like, we need to have a routine pattern that you follow. That way, you know what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. There's no stress involved. There's no worry about when you're going to get it done or how you're going to get it done. You just allot the time and fill the slots with the things that need to be done, just like you would for your nutrition.
Two things. Success loves speed. Success
Mhm.
loves routine. Those two things. If you can take that and translate that to your own life, however your life is, you try to integrate that, you will find it easier to not just gain success with your clients, but also how to scale your business 100%. And that like literally, bro, if you integrate the success loves speed and success loves routine, and you combine that with winning your day, if you win one day, I can guarantee you can win the next day and then the next day. Like, people look at it as in, I need to do XYZ at the end of this month. Okay, yes, it can be beneficial to have that goal, but you're never going to get there if you're only winning 3 out of your 7 days out of the week. You know what I'm saying? And people don't understand, like, oh, I'll get it next week. I'll get it next week. No, I'm going to win today and I'm going to fucking win tomorrow and I'm going to win the next day. But you can't say you're going to win tomorrow until tomorrow comes, because you have to do it. If you just expect that you're going to win tomorrow, you're not going to win tomorrow. You have to wake up and then make the decision to win the day. And it's a lot easier to do it that way, because then when you win the day, you win the week, it builds up to a month, and then it builds up to 6 months, and then a year. And the next thing you know, you're making 50 grand a month. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like it's a lot easier to say that than to do it. But guess what? I've made 50 grand a month before, man. And I'm sitting here telling you guys what I've done. Okay. And it's not about me charging paid in fulls every dang time somebody gets on a call with me.
Yeah.
That's not how I reached 50 grand a
Yeah.
month. You know, and I'm not making a consistent 50 grand a month. I've made high months before. Okay. You know, and I'll be transparent. You know, last month I made, was it 20, just over 22K last month, which is fantastic. I'm very blessed and grateful to be there. But that's not good enough for me, because I also spent 16, 17 grand last month moving into my new house. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
I've
So it's
been
like,
there.
exactly. And it's not good enough for me. And I need to know, like, dude, if I want to get back to my 25, 30, 35, etc., it starts with me. It starts with my routine. It starts with success, or the speed with success. And it starts with figuring out where I can scale and optimize my week. Now, when it comes to, like, let's say with that coach that's around that upwards of 20K mark. Okay.
Yep. We call the 25 mark. The 25 mark we call the awkward teenage years.
Awkward teenage years. Got it. So
Yes.
Go into what the awkward teenage years consist of and what bottlenecks those people are running into.
Yeah. You're making enough money that you're like, hell yeah, we're doing it. But you're not making enough money to hire people
Yep.
in a real way.
Yep.
And then odds are you're probably piffing most of it, which means you have to like grind every month to hit it because we haven't built any type of recurring business. And so you don't have a setter in place. You're probably just doing everything yourself. And so it's like either we're on and the business makes money or we're off and the business doesn't make money. To get past that stage, you have to figure out who do I need to hire, usually part time to start, to help me get to a sustainable 25. Because if you're working 50 hours a week to make 15 grand, does that mean you have to work 70 to make 25? No. Like that's you're not building a business at that point. You're just working a lot. There's a big difference between building a business and working a lot. And so it's like, do we know how to hire a person to push the buttons? Do you know how to manage the person that pushes those buttons? Right. So it becomes where it's like, I'm making a lot of money, but not quite enough to hire the person or not hire an educated enough person to really help me do that. Cause I'm not going to pay 60 grand for somebody because hell, that's half my profit. Right. So you're like, we're not going to do that, but let me just find somebody to help me. But then I don't know how to train them. I've never been a manager before. This is all new to me. I have to track KPIs. What's that? So it's like there's a lot of learning and it's like awkward, but we're finding success and it's exciting. And we want to, like, we got a taste of success. So we want more of it. But yeah, we're not going to, we struggle to put the system in place to be able to have the foundation to where 25 becomes, I'm working 40, 50 hours a week, but I'm making 25,000 because I have starting to have a team of maybe 1 to 2 people inside the business helping. I
Right.
don't know how to manage an assistant coach, but I need one. I don't know how to manage a setter, but I need one. I don't know how to train a closer, but I need one. So it becomes where it's like mentorship is really nice around about this point.
Yep. And that's that range that's the awkward teenage years, bro. Like you said, I want to do this, and I know I need one, but you don't do it. I know I need this, but I don't do it. It's like you get to that point, bro, where it's really easy to get stuck and be paralyzed in analyzing what you need. Okay. And that's coming from me, somebody that doesn't have a setter, that has done, 50K months without a setter before. And that's just, to be honest, bro, I'll be straight up. That wasn't skill. That was just me grinding my freaking ass off.
Right. And it's not sustainable. So
Exactly.
this is the
Exactly.
beautiful thing about what you just said, because I was going to make this statement. It was like, you'll get and hit that 35, 40 month, but you'll fall back down to 25 because you're operating at a 25K level, not a 50K level. So you might hit it, but you'll never keep it because you're not operating that same way. Think about it like this. The fat person that goes on a diet that can't wait to get off the diet hasn't changed the identity of the person that stays in shape.
Yep.
So when you make $25,000, think of it as you're the guy that's 30 pounds overweight, that's on a diet, who can't wait to eat cheeseburgers again because he's going to go right back to that person 30 pounds overweight. You have
Exactly.
to change the identity on how you operate inside the business.
Yep. Because people get to that point where they make that 40, that 50 mark and they realize that they did it and they grinded their ass off. And then they fall back to 25 and they're like, oh, that's all right. I'm making 25. That's a lot better. That's better than nothing. I'm making 25. It's like, okay, yes, that you very, very, you should be very blessed and grateful to be making
Yep,
25K a month.
totally.
A lot of people don't even make 5K a month. Okay, let's be real. But at the end of the day, if you have a big vision, if you want to, retire your parents or you have tangible goals with vehicles or houses or whatever it is that
Huh.
attach that money mindset to, you're not going to get there if you have that cushion in the back of your head. Like, it's okay. I made 15, I made 20K last month. It's all right. You know, um, but also like a lot of times people, la- they're in that awkward teenage years of the 25K range and they want to hire an assistant coach without thinking about the setter or a closer, or trying to train somebody to be a closer. How dangerous is it to somebody's personal brand to bring on another name to work under them if they haven't figured out their own, like they haven't niched down within their own systems of how to progress?
Yeah. So this is a great question because at this point, right around the 25 mark, we need to really start to determine the future of the business and where we're going to be at inside that business. Do we care more about being a head coach or do we care more about being an entrepreneur? So, for
Bingo.
example, if you hate check ins and that no longer fulfills you, but you love the business side and you wake up every day going, how can I create more content? How can I get more leads? How can I do these things? And the thought of somebody asking you, can I eat ketchup, makes you want to rip your hair out, then you're an entrepreneur at heart. If you hate KPIs, you don't want to post, you just want to work with your best clients and just fulfill for them, and you have no desire to run a business, you're a great head coach. This is where you start to hire or think you have to start thinking about the direction you want to go because you cannot get to 50K and wear all the hats. 50K is called the chaos stage. You're normally making 50 grand, but you're bringing home 15. And you're like, dude, I'd rather just go back to helping all these people and fire all these people and just make the same money I'm making now without having to manage all these people. You start spending money on ads, your overhead goes up and profit margin just shrinks. And now you're trying to teach other managers how to manage people who are then pushing buttons. So it's like, so now there's layers. You have between 3 to 8 people typically. You've got to wear a sales hat, a setter hat, a head coach, and then an assistant coach, and then content, and then editing. It becomes a lot.
Yeah.
And so now you can start to hire people, but now you have to manage them in a real way. And there might be somebody underneath them. Typically, one person cannot handle more than 6 different people to work for them. And that's typically when they're kind of like in the same department.
Mm.
But when you got a closer, a setter, you have your own clients, an assistant coach, and an editor, it's just like, bro, how do I become a master at any of it?
Mhm,
By the
mhm,
way, ads. It's
mhm,
just like it's just chaos.
mhm.
And so you start hiring people to take over these positions. They do a half-assed job because you don't know how to manage them, and now you're overpaying them. And then all of a sudden your margin shrinks. And it's
Yep.
like, why am I doing all this work? This
Yeah.
sucks. We also will tell you though, that's the entrepreneur side of it. When somebody chooses head coach, the most successful as far as happiness that we've seen out of all coaches is a coach that does 50 grand a month. They are the head coach and they have mostly like $35,000 in reoccurring in their business. It's not 100K. People quit coaching less than 5K and over 100. Like we'll quit a business doing over 100 because they never fix the problem and chaos just gets bigger. And now you have 100 grand chaos problem, and that's a lot worse.
Big money problems.
It's not necessarily just big money problems. It's that it's the same issue here. You just never fixed it and you scaled chaos.
Oh, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That
it's like,
that
I view it like this. It's like you have a vacuum
Mhm.
and a black hole.
Yep.
You didn't fix the little bitty vacuum. You didn't fix this little bitty hole in your bucket. And now it's a waterfall. It's a major issue that you cannot fix. You have to go back and descale and then fix it. Things do not go wrong, they start wrong.
Dude, I literally made a piece of content on that exact thing today. I literally said, the essence of it was all you people out there making content about my top 3 peptides for the summer are XYZ, but you guys still don't know how to get 5 to 6 hours of sleep, or you're only sleeping 5 to 6 hours a day,
Mhm.
not following your plan, not training hard, like all these things, not having any foundational groundwork. And then you're bringing in all these other things, and then the groundwork is still failing. It's the same concept, right?
Yep. It's like
Yeah.
you can't put a Band-Aid over a gushing neck wound.
No.
100K is a gushing neck wound if you don't have it fixed.
Hmm.
Because it's like let's say we're spending $10,000 on ads. If that doesn't work, you just lost 10 grand.
Mm,
But you have to spend it anyway because your overhead is so expensive because you have all these employees and you have to make this sale to pay for the employees because you only have $20,000 worth of reoccurring with $35,000 worth of bills.
hmm.
So you're in this really bad situation because you tried to scale too fast and you scaled something that was broken. I
Hmm.
see it all the time.
And it's a lot easier for somebody to scale something when it's broken, when they're in that 5 to 10K range, because you can always come back and be like, you're all right, that didn't work. I'm going to go about this a different way. It's really hard to do that once you start reaching those higher numbers. Okay.
Yes. I view it like this. It's really easy to turn a little bitty boat. It's very difficult to turn a cruise ship,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
right? You can't just turn around. It's
Hmm.
like, no, we have to think about how we're going to turn around before we get to port, which means if you want to make a decision at 100K level that is going to change the trajectory of the business, typically it's a 60 to 90-day thing.
Yeah.
At 10K, you want to stop working with women and start working with men? Cool, do it today.
Yep.
You can't do that at 100K.
Mm-mm.
Everything changes, all marketing, all ads, all content, all videos, all everything. You can't just pivot. And if so, it costs you thousands of dollars and it costs you hundreds of hours. Because think about like how many funnels are built and how many ads are made and how many testimonials and transformations and like everything has to be fixed because you stopped working with dads and started working with men on HRT.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem
Exactly.
like a switch, but like that is not something you can just change overnight because every pre-sales call video, every YouTube video, every testimonial, like everything has to change. So it's a big ship to turn. And so it doesn't go wrong, it starts wrong. So chaos is like it's the best stage, but also like the most chaotic stage.
How, what percentage of people coming through the doors of AR, like, where do they land? Is it the 5 to 10? Is it the 25 plus? Where is it at?
Great question. I think it also depends on like, are they coming from mentorship or are they coming off the street? What I mean is like, do they have any experience in investing in themselves or are they just out here doing it on their own? So I would say on average, maybe like 8K, 10K.
Okay. Okay.
Because we'll have a coach come in that does 50 and somebody that does 5, and like that's 30, right? So it's like then you got somebody that does 5 and then somebody does the average of 30, then it's like 15. So like I would say there's more people less than 10K than over, but the ones we do have that are over are like far over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
so
see.
it can skew the numbers. So 80% of people probably do less than 10K when they come to us. And then I would say that if you can break 25, you can go as far as you want to go. It's just, are you willing to do the things required to get there? Because to get to 50, you have to change how you operate.
Hmm.
And some people either don't know how to change or they don't want to change. And there's not a right or wrong answer to either of those. But it's like, you can't tell me you want to be shredded, but you keep eating pizza. I need you to make a decision, you know?
Yeah. Literally, dude. With, okay. I don't know if you can answer this though, because you probably are still like Cameron's coming out in the next month or so. But you had 4 or 5 coaches last week. Was it 4 that came in for
Uh,
you?
4 teams, 5 people.
Got it. So out of those 5 people, what do you think the biggest takeaway was for them that once they sat down on day 2 and you guys broke things down even more, they were like, oh, Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what I need to do.
Yep. So 2 guys that were here worked with men, and I said that I need you to, like, put a niche within a niche. We cannot work with half of the world. I need to have a niche within a niche. And so both of them, one helped his dad lose 50 pounds at 63 years old. And so he has a story he can tell there. And his dad was on HRT and doing peptides. So his story is about helping that. Then we have like Andrew Fotis, Dom Kuzla client, very educated, registered dietitian, going to do junior USAs this year as a super heavy,
Mhm.
very educational. I asked him like scale 1 to 10, where are you at? I was like, let's say Dom's a 10. He's like 6.5, 7. I was like, great. So fairly educated. I go, so we're going to say that you should also speak to people already on HRT or taking peptides. So we're going up the chain of men because you can speak at a higher level education. And then because you have a story of working with your dad, same thing. So those 2 people, it was about, I need you to speak to ICA, stop speaking to men, speak to men who are already or doing this. Cam was more about like dialing in how he needs to operate in the business from an organization and like that standpoint. Like, tell me your schedule that you're currently working. Let's optimize your schedule. And then, like, the vision of where it is you want to go. Right now, we're just collecting clients as they come in. But what is the vision? What's the goal? Because we can't get to 50K if we don't if we don't map out what 50K actually looks like. And I love
Mhm.
to do this. Like, this will be a great exercise for you as well. But this is something I do for everybody that comes in person. You ready? How much money do we want to make? So everybody write that down. How much money do you want to make inside your business per month? Great. How many total clients can your company, whether that's you or you and your assistant coaches, what is the maximum amount of capacity of people that you can actually train? So let's say that your goal is to do 50K. And our max amount of people that you can work with is, let's say it's 100. That's, you can't take on any more than 100 clients. Now, how much is your price? What do you charge per month? If you say 350, I want to make 50,000. I can train 100 people. I charge 350. I'm sorry to tell you that math does not math. That's only 35,000. 350 times 100 people is 35,000. So what you have is an unthought out pipe dream. So now I need you to understand that you have to charge on average $500, which means if you have 43 people on 400, I'm going to need 43 people at 600,
Yeah.
or you're never going to make it.
Yep.
So that also means like when you sell the 12-month program and you give them a discount, it's got to be discounted at the 600 to make up for the ones you got at 400.
Bingo.
So it's like, okay, so now you're doing assistant coach. That helps you. So now you can handle 180 people.
Mhm.
Great. But now how much of that percentage are you taking?
Mhm.
Is that, and like, now this is where it becomes difficult because it's like most of the time it's either we give too little or we give too much, or we're trying to build somebody that brings us clients. And it's like, wait, did you hire a marketer? Or did you hire an assistant coach? Are you training somebody else to become sufficient enough to build their own team and then leave you? Or are you building an assistant coach?
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
like, it's finding that balance. But this is something I love because, like, if you want to make the certain amount of money, how many clients can you handle? What do you charge? If the math don't math, stop saying that's your goal. You know how to fix it. Now go execute that. So that's something I had everybody do. And I had everybody like, does your math? And they're like, no. And they're like, yeah, it does actually. And I was like, no, no. So it's cool to see. It's just like, we want to get here, but you haven't done enough due diligence of mapping it out. Does it actually work? Or is it just a wish? wishing will get you nowhere. Wanting will. Because when you want something, you build a plan to get it. I want to win the trophy. I wish I win the trophy. It's
Yep.
like, good luck, buddy.
Yeah. Dude, it's one of those things, it makes me like it's absolutely wild for me to realize, like, I started coaching in 2020, okay? I wouldn't I'd say I was more full-time in middle of 2021, okay? For a full-time college kid in 2021, making about 5 to 6K a month, that's full-time, okay? Especially ain't nobody in college making 5 to 6K a month at that point, all right? So I was like, "Wow, like, I've had to grind to get here." We have so many resources for the people watching right now to be in the position that Mike is in, to be in the position that I am in, everything. Like, it is so, I don't want to say it's easy, but we've got so much access to valuable resources. This podcast is an absolute great resource for everybody listening. We're just giving you free freaking value that if we talk about bodybuilding and coaching that I charge for, if we're talking about business that Mike charges for. So it's like, there's always going to be those people listening. They're like, well, I can't do that because that's not my demographic. Well, I was like, well, shit, you may have to niche to a different demographic then, like you may have to change things up a little bit. We have there. I truly want to say, dude, there's no excuse for people besides their own mindset of why they can't do it.
I don't. It's a great statement. Is it that people feel like they can't do it, or is it more or less they don't know how to do it?
I think it's both, bro. We are in such a cush society. The amount of times that I've told people this is what you need to do, but they don't do it because they know they need to, but they just don't do it. It's just like
Totally.
they like being comfortable. They don't like to try something and then fail, and then they don't know have enough skill of self-reflection to look back at where they failed to not make that mistake again. You know, I think it's a combination of both. Because I'll be straight up with you, Mike. I'm a very firm believer that society is purposely creating people to conform instead of critically think to become problem solvers, because that is how you keep a system of worker bees moving forward. The system does not want people like Mike and myself breaking the mold, becoming financially independent, and going against the grain. And we're the oddballs in society. There's nothing special about us, dude. Guess what? I'm not that freaking intelligent, bro. I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm smart in a lot of areas, but guess what? I'm not the smartest person that you're going to see. I'm just very good at the skills that I have built over time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And it takes, I think, failure obviously to get those skills, right? Trial
Yes.
and error.
Yes.
I find that interesting because it's like I have gotten the compliment before. It's like, dude, you're like really smart. And I go, I don't know that I'm smart because I think smart is one of those things to where it's like, how good and how much can you regurgitate from memorized material?
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Critical thinking, I don't know that is smart. I think is an intelligent, but I don't know that it's smart. I'm a critical thinker. Like I can fix things that are broken without having to look it up because I'm just going to try to like want to look at it sideways. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Just the street smart. Growing up on and with my dad and whatnot. I didn't have Google growing up, if that makes sense. So we didn't ask questions. We just took it apart and tried to figure it out.
Dude, that
So
is so valuable.
it is, and I say that because it led me to this. This morning, I saw a reel that said, for the first time ever, Gen Z, our kids are not smarter than we are.
Dude, stop. Mike, was this in a guy he was like he was a teacher and then he transitioned to a neuroscientist and he was
I
in a
don't know, but I think he reposted it and I saw it from that.
yes, he
But he
was in a
said because of technology.
yes, I saw it.
Yep. So basically, what he was saying is that because we stopped learning through writing and books and we started learning through technology, that the behavior is that we skim through the material instead of actually having to physically read the material. And for the first time ever, Gen Z does not grade as good as better than the generation before them, which is not a good sign.
No, it's scary, bro.
So technology is not needed in the education system.
No, it's not. And I think it's
It's a distraction.
it's a distraction. It's actually a very selfish thing that the education system is doing because they're using all these things as tax write-offs. Hey, we're going to go buy $1 million worth of technology this year just so we can have a tax write-off. And it's like we're finally starting to see the issues occurring of retention and knowledge acquisition and problem solving skills directly associated with having everything at our fingertips. I remember the days when I had to go to typing class, like on a big box monitor, and there was a class for it. And then I remember in high school, every single person had a Google Chromebook laptop that was assigned to them. It's like everything transitions so fast. We're always ready to jump on the next thing because it's very accessible, just like peptides, just like steroids. But then we don't think about what's going to happen down the road. Everybody listening, like, comment, share, subscribe. Please, please, please. Let us know what you want to see more from us. I really hope this podcast episode brought you guys a ton of value. We'll be back again next week. On our schedules have been a little bit different per week here. Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. We're not really sure, but we're always getting you guys the best content possible, the best podcast possible, free value. So please, if whatever day we drop it on, give it a like, give it a share, subscribe. It would mean the world to us. Because guess what, guys? We don't make any money off doing this podcast. This is all out of our pocket, our time. We just want to give to you so that you guys can take it and do with it what you will. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
We can make it happen.
That'd be awesome.